Welcome to worship with the Universalist Unitarian Church in Peoria. My name is Reverend Innis. It is my great joy to be the minister with this congregation of people of all ages at all stages of life. We are so glad that we are here on this morning to take this day and this opportunity to gather in community, to share joy and comfort and sometimes our challenges. We are an intentional community gathered around our shared promise to support each other's spiritual journeys. So let us worship together all gender identities, sexual orientations, politics, and may we root ourselves in the values of this faith: compassion and courage, transcendence, justice, transformation, and service. And in living our mission, we recognize the networks of connection from which we benefit, of which we are a part. This is the ancestral home of the Peoria people. They were here long before the first Europeans came down the Illinois River. And so we honor the Peoria people for who they were and for who they continue to be and for who they will be in the future. I'd like to especially welcome any guests that we have joining us today, folks who are new to us, and we are new to you as well. So thank you for taking a chance and taking the time to gather with us in community this morning. Thank you also for joining us, whether we're in person and online as well. So if you are new, please help us get to know you by wearing a name tag and staying after the service to be social in Fellowship Hall. And also, Please, if you if you're with us electronically, that is also a place where people can gather and visit as well. So I want to have a couple of notes about how we gather together. One, this is the moment to check to see that your respective devices are in worship mode, which means not loud. So buzzy, silent, that kind of thing. And I have a public service announcement for the day. In the top 10 things you don't want me to talk about from the pulpit, this is going to be one of them. Here we are, which is that colds and flu and COVID are the reason for the wheezin' in the season. Yeah. COVID numbers are, in fact, up. We are in the high level, and the CDC recommends masking in gatherings such as this. And that just happened over the weekend. The administrative team will be discussing options for safety guidelines. And also, please, get your shots, take care, stay home if you're ill, wash frequently the hands, and everything. We know how to take care of ourselves and each other. Boy, we've had a lot of practice. So let's do so, and then we can be together in as many ways as possible for this time. I also want to call your attention to our decorations as we begin the month of December. We have the big tree. I think this is the return of the large tree. There's a tree that's like yo big, but this tree is yo big. We had to find the little handy dandy little tool to get the decorations all the way up to the top there this time. I want to thank the worship and religious education teams for preparing the decorations for this month. And also thank you to everybody who was part of the Deck the Halls gathering yesterday afternoon. After service, by all means, come on over and take a closer look at the wonderful decorations that are filling the tree and the very, very long paper chain as well. All right. There's always an annual accomplishment of saying, yes, we got the paper chain to be long enough to fill the tree. Yes. And now I'd like to invite a member of the Religious Education Committee to come and say something about our pageant next week.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. So, our winter pageant is nearly upon us. Next weekend, on Sunday, December 11th, during worship, we'll start worship as usual, and then the main sermon part will be our religious education kids and youth presenting a winter solstice fable. Today, in RE, the kids are going to do a little rehearsing. We're going to be putting together our costumes. And then after worship today, we're going to stay after another 15 or 20 minutes and kind of do a dress rehearsal in the sanctuary too, so we can all know where we'll stand and what we'll be doing. So I hope you can all join us. If you can't stay after today, or if you're online now and won't be here next week, or will be here next week, don't worry. We'll have ways to include you. And then parents, if we could try and get here just a half hour early next week at 10 a.m., that would be great. So that we can have kids get their costumes on and know where they're going to be and understand what sounds they get to make. Okay? So we'll see you then.
Oh, Jesse. No. And I would like to invite Jill Thomas up for a special stewardship invitation.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see so many faces in the sanctuary this morning. I want to share a little story with you. During the pandemic, I became pretty isolated, like many of you guys did, and I gained 15 pandemic pounds, I binged way too much chocolate and TV. And my granddaughters will tell you I lost my spark. It was pretty sad. But I think I have my spark back. Yay! And it started by serving on the board. Then I started chairing the worship committee. I've been serving on the RE committee for years, and I joined a covenant circle. I organized the Connections Fair, and I found I have a passion for finding volunteer opportunities. Not for me, for you guys. I found enough for me. Let's work on you guys now. In doing this, I rekindled my spark. Meeting and getting to know others, sharing life stories and a laugh, and providing service to our beloved community has allowed me to feel a purpose again. And my granddaughters will tell you I have rekindled my spark. So why do I share this story with you? Well, the church needs time and energy to thrive, but that doesn't pay the bills. So I have made a special year-end contribution to the church. It's a one-time contribution. It does not affect my pledge. It does not mean I'm expected to give this donation again next year. It's just my way of thanking this community and the church for helping me find my spark again. So I'd like to ask all of you to consider giving a year-end donation to the church as well. You can drop it in the plate. There's a website that you can give donations through. You can give a donation of cash, a check, a gift of stock, tax-free rollovers from your IRA if you're of a certain age. All of these things are ways that you can donate. And then I'd also like you to invite you to see if you can find some joy in providing service to the church as well. You can meet with our membership coordinator. Where is she? Oh, back there. She can help, and I can help you find ways that you can provide service to the church. There's a huge variety of roles that can be filled. So during this season of giving, I hope you'll all consider a year-end gift to the UU Church of Peoria.
Thank you very much, Jill. Oh, and check out Jill's literally red nail polish too. I mean, the spark is in the fingers as much as any place as well. I'm just saying. Please join me as we continue to welcome the day into our service with our hymn, Morning Has Broken. Please rise and body your spirit for hymn number 38 in the gray hymnal, Morning Has Broken. Please be seated. And let me invite Jesse Laughlin up for our opening words.
In This Spirit of Searching by Reverend Joan Javier Duval. Out of depths unknown, the spark of life ignites, and we are born. We enter a world, a universe, not of our making. Our lives unfold in mystery and in wonder. Questions abound, for which there are no definite answers. And so, we gather in community to seek one another, assurance and recognition, compassion and strength. We gather in community to be reminded of what is most ultimate and what is most sacred. In this spirit of reverence, let us worship together this morning.
And I'd like to invite the Smezrud family up to light our chalice this morning. It's fine.
Wonder by Reverend Dr. David Breeden. We light this flame, reminding ourselves to treasure the magic in the mundane. The wonders of carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, rapid oxidation into light, heat, and the dance of a flame. We light this chalice, kindling, remembering our innate sense of wonder at the very real magic of our world.
And now we receive the gift of music from our choir.
And a slight change from the order of service, the choir this morning will be singing a Robert Frost poem entitled Stopping By the Woods on a Snowy Evening, set to music by Ruth Artman.
Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse here between the woods and frozen lakes. The darkest heat is all but here. His hardest bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds, the sweep of easy wind The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Before I sleep, before I sleep.
In the living of our mission, embracing freedom, loving inclusively, growing in mind, body, and spirit, and adding to the wholeness of the world, that living shows up in so many of the gifts we share in our volunteering and using particular skills and our financial gifts as well. So we take up a collection every week during the service as a way to honor that act of giving, to recognize that to make a gesture from the abundance of our lives is valued, is tangible, and let us be intentional about that and present in the life and work that we share and keep on sustaining. We also send some of our offering out into the world. We practice a share the plate, which is that every week, half the undesignated offering will be sent out to a named recipient and half goes to the work of the church. We began this fall by the Social Impact Committee's choice with giving for the New Mexico Coalition for Reproductive Choice. They're working with partners in Texas to secure transportation and abortion access to folks from Texas, and we have raised enough to support one person's trip. It's about $1,000. So we have succeeded in that. And now at this point in our sharing the plate for the rest of our calendar year, basically for the month of December, our Share the Plate destination is for the minister's discretionary fund. Now, this is a fund that is a resource for members who are struggling financially and need some kind of immediate or short-term help. So the way that we are sharing the plate is with our members and friends who we will never know if they have need, but it is something that can make a great difference in a person's life. And then at the beginning of the new year, the Social Impact Committee will have a schedule of local recipients that will begin to receive our Share the Plate. So if your offering this morning is towards your pledge, please indicate that in the memo line in your check or in the offering envelope. Again, half the undesignated offering goes to Share the Plate and half goes to the ministry of the church. I want to thank everybody for your generous gifts, whatever form they show up, however much they are in amount and also in time, for everything that we offer with one another adds up to make a difference in how we conduct the life and the work of our gathering. And now the ushers will pass the plates, and after the plates have passed will be a chance for folks to come forward and light candles of care. Our morning offering will be greatly received. Let us have the ushers come forward. From our separate joys and struggles, we come here to find a place of balance, to find the blessing of restlessness. All are welcome. To follow, to teach, to lead, to learn, all are welcome. To join the dance, to catch our breath, all are welcome. To give generously, to receive gratefully, all are welcome. If we are steady and composed, if we are completely lost, and if we don't know what we are feeling, this community has a place for us here. We matter, we are loved, and we are welcome. This is the time for the sharing of joys and sorrows in the congregation. And I want to begin with a note of joy. Our longtime member Carol Lowe is celebrating her birthday this Friday, December 9th. It'll be at the Accolade Retirement Center. All are welcome. Look for other notices, but all are welcome to join and celebrate Carol. And contact Jean Jost for more information. We have a note, wishes for recovery. We offer wishes for quick and speedy recoveries To Martha DeBold, who is recovering at home under the loving care of her husband. She had surgery and is happy to be on the recovering side. We also offer a note for wish for speedy recovery to Dave Grebner's sister Margie, who is recovering at home after injuries sustained in a fall. We offer our care and concern for a friend of Gary Hall. His friend Al Burnett is dying from Agent Orange. He has 2 to 3 months, maybe less. And Gary asks that we pray for his friend Al in this time. We also offer our condolences to the family and friends of Sue Ellis. Sue died peacefully on December 2nd after a long, long life. She was our longest term member, having signed the membership book in 1944. Let's just pause and think about the math on that one there. Wow, right? Wow. She had not been able to be with us for some time. Plans for a memorial will be shared as soon as they are decided. But let us also just offer that extra note of care and sympathy to Sue's family and those who all know and loved her. In our larger world, I want to note that we have just passed December 1st, which is World AIDS Day. From the Reverend Michael Crumpler in our Unitarian Universalist offices. December 1st being World AIDS Day, it is a time to remember those we've lost to HIV and AIDS, to celebrate our successes in saving and improving the lives of people with HIV, and to renew our commitment to ending what still is an epidemic of HIV in the United States and around the world. I want to offer a note of prayer for compassion inspired by the work of Reverend Elizabeth Tarbox, one of our late elders. Spirit of life, I give thanks for the opportunities to love that present themselves in the turmoil of life, where the light catches the tears in another's eyes, where hands are held and there are moments without words. Let us be present then and alive to the possibility of changing. Let us seek to make another's well-being the object of our concern. Let us seek to be present to another's pain, bathe another's wounds, hear another's sadness, celebrate another's success, and allow another's story to change our own. Let us not defend ourselves against the discomfort of unruly emotion, not seek to close down our hearts for fear a new love will come to shake our foundations. Let us instead be open to discovering a new way of seeing an old problem, or appreciation for the perfection of a seashell, or the possibility of friendship. For in giving ourselves to what we do not understand, we receive life's blessings, and in taking care of others, we receive care ourselves. Let us take one more moment in quiet for all that is within our hearts and around us, for all that is. Let us take one more moment of quiet together. Amen. Shalom, and blessed be. And now we have our story with Jesse Lachlan. It's okay.
Good morning. I wonder what's in this box. What could it be? I wonder if any of you have ever wondered about something. Sometimes the things that we see, we take for granted. And we think, oh, that's just a rock. Yes, I've seen that bug before. Why should I wonder at the creation of it? Today, I would like to invite you all to let a little wonder into your life. You might even need a wonder wand. And if I wonder what's in my box, let's see if we can see it with new eyes. I have a rock. It's rather beige. But when that rock was split open, it is full of sparkles inside. Has anybody seen a rock that is more than what they thought it was? I wonder about that little insect that flew by. We take them for granted. But if you ask a physicist, a bumblebee shouldn't be able to fly, and yet it does. I wonder about music and what joy it brings us and how it brings us together. And most of all, I wonder about love. How it starts small and grows so much bigger than could ever be held in this box. So I invite you all to add a little wonder to your days. We're all busy in December. There's much to do and some rushing around. But find your wonder wand and take it out and say your magic words. Abracadabra, wonder, notice. And see what it is that you see. So I'd like invite the children to come with as we go back to Ari.
What Song by Reverend Victoria Safford. Reverend Victoria Safford recently retired from a long ministry with the White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church of Matomedi, Minnesota. This piece is from her UUA meditation manual, Walking Toward Morning. What if there were a universe, a cosmos that began in shining blackness, out of nothing, out of fire, out of a single silent breath, and into it came billions and billions of stars. Stars beyond imagining, and near one of them a world, a blue-green world so beautiful, that learned clergymen could not even speak about it cogently. And brilliant scientists trying to describe it began to sound like poets with their physics, with their mathematics, their empirical, impressionistic musing. What if there were a universe in which a world was born out of a smallish star, and into that world, at some point, flew red-winged blackbirds, and into it swam sperm whales, and into it came crocuses and the wind to lift the tiniest hairs on naked arms in spring when you run out to the mailbox. And into it at some point came onions out of soil, and came Mount Everest, and also the coyote we've been seeing in the woods about a mile from here, just after sunrise in these mornings when the moon is full. The very scent of him makes his brother, our dog, insane with fear and joy and ancient inbred memory. Into that world came animals and elements and plants and imagination, the mind and the mind's eye. If such a universe existed and you noticed it, what would you do? What song would come out of your mouth? What prayer? What praise? What sacred offering? What whirling dance? What religion? And what reverential gesture would you make to greet the world every single day that you were in it? Thank you.
Please rise in body of spirit and join me in singing our hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. We will hear it once and sing through twice. Please be seated. It seems fitting that a message on wonder in a Unitarian Universalist congregation would begin with Mary Oliver. because, sacred text and everything. Mary Oliver and her work. She writes, "Still, I want in my life to be willing to be dazzled, to cast aside the weight of facts and maybe even float a little above this difficult world. I want to believe I am looking into the white fire of a great mystery." And there's also something from Michael Lerner in Cocoon magazine. He writes, "At the heart of our existence is a mystery, and various spiritual traditions have come into existence in response to primary mystery. The mystery that there is anything at all. The mystery that the universe seems to have a consciousness and a meaning that transcends our daily experience. It is the reality of human experience that at our core, we respond to the universe with a sense of awe and wonder at creation. We are dazzled by the incomprehensible fact of being itself. Through history, we have responded to the sense of awe and wonder with song, with prayers, with dance, with theology and philosophy, with great art and architecture, with a sense of humility and recognition there is something that is both part of us and beyond us, something that we cannot name or control. It is from this sense of awe that the most profound wisdom springs." I love this choice in both of these of the word dazzled. Dazzled. I mean, wonder is great. Like, that's a great word, but dazzled. Dazzled. When have you been dazzled? When have you been dazzled? As a faith, we are talking about how we engage with the world, how we explore and live into our values and our principles, our motivations, our aspirations, our dreams and our vision, and how we simply also make our way through this existence one with another. We talk about this with our in this time with how we've described our Unitarian Universalist principles, that we affirm and promote the inherent worth, that we affirm and promote a search for truth and meaning, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, that we affirm and promote the interdependent web of existence of which we are a part, and more, we say, and more. And we ground these. We're figuring out again and again how much we are connected in all of these principles and values by the work of love, moving in us and around us, an emotional and an active love that brings us out into the world with loving action towards ourselves and loving action with each other, our neighbors, and so on. We're exploring as a whole tradition, not just sometimes in this congregation, but as an entire congregation, as an entire faith, how we talk about what is most important to us and how we are inspired. Where does that come from? Where do our values come from, and where do they lead us onward? So, for example, we talk about in our principles the inherent worth and dignity of every person, but why do we believe that? What is the theology, the personal theology, for example, that says we do affirm this? And one of those ways that informs our values and our principles, and this is not just our principles, but our sources, how we have named 6 different sources in Unitarian Universalism at this time, although by all means there's room for many more. And the first source that we describe in our list is the direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. That's the first of our 6 official sources, of our 6 named sources, because we know there's so many more. So we're on this moment and in this journey of exploring what we say we value and how we articulate that, and then how do we live that in the world. And we spent some time on the journey this fall. In October, we covered the theme of courage. In November, we covered the theme of change. And last Sunday, spending a moment with kind of reconnecting with our embodied selves after so much kind of shifting and exploring and being interrupted and finding new things, learning new things and trying to integrate that. We spent a moment last Sunday reconnecting with our body, and that body, mind, and spirit before entering into this time and this theme of wonder. But before I fully go further with saying, hey, wonder is great, because wonder is great, I want to recognize and spend a moment recognizing that sometimes wonder is not actually a priority. In fact, it can be very far down on our list of what deserves the finite number of hours and emotional attention we can muster in any given moment. Because there's sometimes, I will offer that sometimes the connecting with mystery, woohoo, isn't that lovely and sparkly, can seem just plain frivolous and not practical, and it's not going to pay the bills, if you will. It's not going to deal with the heating. It's not going to deal with the broken stove or whatever we have that comes up and interrupts our lives. Sometimes wonder and mystery can seem awfully disconnected from our hardships and our struggles. Sometimes wonder can feel the farthest from us when we are deep in challenges, when we're seeing and knowing injustice in the world or in our lives, when we are deeply angry, when we despair for what is and what may come, for unexpected changes in circumstances, unwanted, undesired changes, and unwanted and undesired diagnoses as well. Wonder can feel so far away when we have the immediacy of humans being terrible to each other, right in our faces. Wonder feels not really part of the picture at times when we experience alienation, the dehumanizing experience of being subjected to the workings of institutions, company policy, insurance approvals, and the anxiety connected with that. In fact, even wonder can feel fairly far away from in this moment when so many of us are striving to take care of our very earth, such a source of amazement itself amidst our climate crisis. The long building, long coming devastation of our planet that is in fact removing places of wonder, systems of environmental miracles that will never come again. This is all present in our lives. So why do we spend this moment on wonder? Why is it such a priority? Why? Perhaps the way to go about this is to try to be tangible and specific with what I'm talking about, with a place of experience of wonder and mystery. Let's go with direct experience, something tangible. Because I know from our conversations, I know that wonder is present even amidst the hardships in our lives. I know because you all have shared so much of that with me in other conversations. We have talked about this together. So let's bring in a little imagination. If we took a field trip, like, never mind time and space constraints. If we took a field trip as a congregation, as a gathering right now, where would we go to know wonder? Where would you like to take us all to know wonder? Yes, Nancy. Out in our woods, out in the woods, right outside on the other side of the wall. Thank you. Yes. The North Pole. Ooh, nice. Yes. A brilliant starry sky. Yes, Rachel. So those excellent nonprofits that are helping people on the East Bluff, South side of Peoria. Yes. Yep. There's lots of different ways we might know wonder. Yes, that human beings can help and be kind. Sometimes that's just a wonder by itself, is it not? Yes. Sunrises and sunsets. Thank you. No, I recognize I asked that question knowing that you're probably going to go on your own personal field trips maybe for the rest of the service, and that's okay. That's okay. I know that. It's okay. It's all part of the service. It's all fine. If I may, let me take a moment to share where I would bring you, where I would bring all of us, like the kids included, everybody under the roof and online. You're welcome to join us. If the limits of time and space were not a question, and if we had instant transporter technology and time travel too. We'll go with it all. I would say 6 a.m. on a beautiful summer morning at Ferry Beach in Maine, southern Maine. It's one of our Universalist Camp and Conference Center. There was a particular day this summer that was the absolute lowest tide of the week, of a religious education week for families and everybody. When the wave's edge was hundreds of yards from shore. This is a particularly shallow spot. And there was this liminal space between the beach and the beginning of the actual waves. And it was this shallow, splashy surface. It felt like walking on water, like for real, walking on water, not ice, but walking on water. With the early sun glinting and flashing, it also felt like walking on pools of light. And below, as the water ebbed, you saw the shaping of the finest grained sand into ripples. For the creatures that lived there, they'd be miniature hills and valleys. And the water was so still that you could see the tracks of the crabs and the snails. And one could walk for miles up and down the shore at this low point in the tide. And it's a little thrilling, too, to be out there in a blue true dream of sky, because at any moment, the tide was going to turn and start to come in. But the thrill wasn't for personal safety because there was no harm coming. It was so calm, and it would have taken a lot of time for all that water to come in again. But the thrill was because the world that was revealed in the withdrawing of this water in the shallows would have been hidden, obscured again by tons of waves and water. The thrill was to have life revealed in its unique nature at that moment. And a life in that exact composition would never come again. The tide and the moon and the water and the creatures moving would have been different in any other moment. It was exactly unique in that time. And that morning, I also shared a bit of that experience with some folks gathered. I found a moon snail. A moon snail. Now, this is one of those snails I'm always impressed by it because it's got a relatively modest shell and a disproportionately large foot. I mean, just like, how do you fit it all in kind of snail? And the seagulls had been by trying to eat and get into whatever creatures they could find. And I thought this particular snail was dead because it hadn't fully retracted into its shell. And so I found a large clam shell and put the moon snail in there and walked up the beach and carried it up to show folks who were our early risers also on the porch and just enjoy it for a bit before sending it back to the ocean. And while talking with folks and kind of not paying attention to the snail for just a moment, it opened and started moving. It was not dead. Whoops. Whoops. That alone was a good moment of telling me to check my assumptions about life as well. As soon as I realized it was in fact still alive, I brought it up to our room to show my daughter, because that was what I brought it up for in the first place, and then quickly returned it to its home. That moment is the experience of the earth and its natural miracles that I would share with you, that we could all gather as on the beach as a cloud of witnesses to absorb that moment. The presence of wonder, the priority of wonder and mystery, to keep holding that out before ourselves, to say, this right here, pay attention to this. It is so full of possibility to change our hearts and provide a change of life. As Victoria Safford said indicated in the reading, we begin with the cosmos and work all the way down how that wonder flows. What flows through and through us, and what then calls us to respond. How shall we move and change and shift and be present in our lives? And I think, I ask the question, why do we wonder? Why do we wonder? I so appreciate that in our current composition of sources, that we begin with that. As I think we need that reminder again and again and again. Because there is, in fact, so much ugly. So much that has come down to us that has caused us pain through society and family and connection or disconnection. There's so much hardship that is around us and within us. We have to keep starting with wonder whenever possible. Wonder by itself reminds us also of the miracle that we are, including our bodies, whatever form our bodies take at any given moment. As Sonia Renee Taylor reminds us in her work, the body is not an apology. Our bodies are powerful, remarkable gifts. And wonder reminds us what it is to be honored and respected and provided space, whatever space we need. Wonder reminds us about the cycles of life, of day and night, that night falls and dawn breaks and stars come in and out, even when the world breaks us and breaks our hearts. We wonder because there is so much we don't know. Science, for sure, provides keys and information, but oftentimes it just provides more entrances to more wow and to more questions. Because we are all about the questions. And we keep going with the wondering because it is questions all the way up and down and sideways and so on. As Albert Einstein reminds us, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and all science. We wonder because we need the wildness of it. That aspect of wonder that is untamed, that is not in our control, as Henry David Thoreau reminds us. We need the tonic of wildness. At the same time that we are earnest to explore and learn all things, we require that all things be mysterious and unexplorable, that land and sea be indefinitely wild, unsurveyed, unfathomed by us because unfathomable. Excuse me. It is unfathomable. Oh my gosh. We'll get there eventually. We can never have enough of nature. Because when I ask in Unitarian Universalist context, in most contexts, frankly, about sacred places, meaningful experiences, or encounters with wonder, we just immediately go to nature and bring nature with us whenever possible and return to nature to fill ourselves again and again. And I think ultimately, in the wildness, in the wonder, in the mystery, this is how we locate ourselves. In the shiftingness of all, this is actually how we locate ourselves, I think. How we kind of set and place ourselves and even find something of an anchor while dreaming with the clouds, gazing deep into the Milky Way, or on the smaller scales, are fascinated by tiny hummingbirds or gently bring a ladybug outside. Our embodied beings of possibilities are in a constant state of orienteering, mentally, emotionally, physically, existentially. And wonder and mystery gives us a place to start that we may continue on our journey again and again, the mingling of poetry and science to know, to learn, and then be dazzled once more. I saw from the crypto-naturalist, the fossil is not the animal, the fossil is not the bones of the animal, the fossil is the stone's memory of the bones of the animal. And that's a poetry older than words. So we place ourselves in the memory, in the foundation that is always still shifting, and then go forth. So let us go forth into this season of wonder, be open to the mystery of the lengthening nights and the shorter days, knowing that in a matter of weeks, the cycles turn again. And in the course of this season, we sing and we celebrate and we wait and we are amazed. Amen. Please rise in body or spirit and join me for our closing hymn, number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. Extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Like the cosmic dust following the great Perseid meteor, we are living remnants of time and all that has come to pass in its wake, briefly shining lights on our way to eternity. We are only visible to the naked eye for an instant. So take this moment to shine like the stardust you are. May the light of our time on earth shine to bless the world and each other. Let us shine, let us shine, let us shine. Our worship is ended. May our service, our shining service, begin.